TD stock down. The bank has agreed to pay $3.1 billion to U.S. regulators over its sloppy money laundering controls. The bank has admitted as much to that. Let's get more from Bloomberg's Stephanie Hughes. Stephanie.
Hey, Andy. So that's right. Those money laundering controls, or lack thereof in this case, is hitting the stock price today for TD. Those shares were down over 7% today, which made it the worst performer on the TSX list. And like you mentioned, this is stemming from the initial Wall Street Journal report. And then we saw more developments today of the Canadian lender being hit with $3 billion in penalties and facing restrictions over U.S. expansion. So this is another development in this whole saga around the anti-money laundering investigations that we've been seeing. And another development today was that the Department of Justice prosecutor said that two units at TD would be pleading guilty to these to the failure to actually maintain a proper program here. So, yeah, this has been a struggle on TD over the past few months. This has been really it's a continuation of these investigative probes that have been putting pressure on the shares for weeks on end. So viewers should also note that today TD shares are trading ex-dividend, so it's really hard to get the whole size and scope of
$1.02.
Yeah, how this actually compares to other plunges in the past. But there's no doubt that some of the shares are coming under pressure today because of these new developments that are coming at a rapid fire rate. There might even be a new development on my walk over here, but that's the story about TD today, Andy.
Yeah, so this cap on growth in the States, I mean, there have been speculation reports that was coming, but Canaccord said this morning prior to the news, if this is true, it's a little worse than we'd expected. So not everybody was assuming they'd get this cap on their growth, it seems. Absolutely,
and the adage of TD being the most American Canadian bank, that is a very important part of TD's business. So it looks like it's surprising analysts and spooking investors. And you can see that reflected in the share price.
It's interesting. I know I've discussed this with Nigel D'Souza of Veritas, and his thesis is banking in Canada is so profitable that perhaps banks should ask themselves, why do you want to go into the U.S. market? Yeah. Why not just stick in Canada?
Just the temptation, those new horizons there, Andy. They gotta expand their market share. It's bit of that. It's just looking for new customers. But yeah, you raise a good point, though. It's there's a lot of profits to be made in Canada, and it's just interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the CEOs can beat their chest and say that they're international players, but anyway. But of course, that's a philosophical thing. And interesting, some quite scathing language. I'm not sure if you call that the controller of the currency, saying it was egregious and bad actors were attracted to TD, knowing that they could get away with stuff. That's what this regulator said.
Exactly, and there's so many jarring headlines over the past few months. Yeah, it's new development every week, it seems.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare for TD in terms of public perception. Stephanie, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Stephanie Hughes of Bloomberg.